Hi, and welcome to the Ada K Show. I am Ada K. Brown, and am currently a criminal justice major, and I'm a deaf courtroom commentator. Grab a cup of Java, and let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody. Woohoo! We're here. We're ready to go. Are y'all ready? I got a little, wow, that's weird. My hair's all the way over there. Okay. We got a little break. Some of us did, not really. I hope this finds you well, everybody. Thank you, first in chat, Erin. And then we have June, Elaine. I'm sorry, not Elaine. Karate Kat Mom. And June, thank you guys for my bitching here. I am early, and I know that, and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But he finished early, and I'm like, okay, let's get on because it's going to be a long night. So we have Karen Reed, and first up is not Karen Reed, Lori Daybell. I have to keep saying, hey guys, well, hello, thanks for joining. This is called Slap Ass Tired. So we have this guy coming on. So let me get everything up and running and on screen, and we'll get everything hopping. No, I don't want to duplicate. I want to delete. Yes, delete. It opened up all these different windows that I truly don't need. And then let me get this on stage. There we go. Let me get the color. I got it. It just doesn't want to stay set up. So here we go. Yes. Okay, y'all. Oh, that's what I want. Show stage. I don't want that. There we go. We're good. Hello, one sunny day. Ooh, I'm hot. That's why I feel weird. My ears are hot. All right, guys, let's get rolling into day 4 of the Lori Daybell trial. I'm going to leave it at normal speed to get going.
We want to have the witness back on the witness stand.
Tonight's bingo card. Oh my gosh, yes. Tonight's bingo card is pinned. And the bingo card is Lori, Alex Cox, Confused Colors, Idaho Trials, Passport, Lieutenant Hermo, Phoenix Police Case Agent, Blue Nissan Rogue, Sidebar, Video Gun Lead Shooter. I'm running it together so I don't get in trouble. Lead Shooter. Okay, fire. Jeep, Rexburg, Idaho. surveillance footage, Chad Daybell, Mesa Police Storage Unit, Gilbert Police, emails, no questions, photos via VIN number and data, DNA match. So those are our bingo card words. Let's get ready to rumble. Here we go. Thank you, June, for
Ready
the
to proceed with your
fabulous
cross?
start. Oh, I got to change that.
All right, you can go ahead and get ready up at the podium if you like. We'll bring the jury in.
Not, that is not today. But I ain't going to change it for that.
Okay.
Maybe I should. He remains up here for quite a while, if I understand it correctly. And once again, we have gone out of order. This is the case of out of order witnesses. She is wearing her, you can see the lumps and bumps in the back. That is that taser belt, which will be great. Love to see it go off, but can't. I'd be out of, yeah. That would be cruel of me to wish that on her. Just saying. That would be cruel. Don't be cruel. All right, come on. Wow, that's right. I can zoom.
And then to not contact Melanie, is that, and you said it was,
You can continue with your cross-examination of this witness. Go ahead.
Detective Pillar, yesterday we were speaking of your interview with Brandon in the car, and you said it was about 25 to 30 minutes, is that correct?
That sounds right.
And that
got my
the
merch!
audio recorded it, is that correct?
That is correct.
And at the end of that interview, you admonished Brandon to not contact Melanie, is that correct?
There were phone calls attempted to be made to Melanie. And then after that, I encouraged him to not answer and to simply contact me if she were to contact him.
And what do you mean by the phone calls?
We tried to contact her to get her side of the story early on in the investigation, since that was the one name that he most recently had a recent relationship falling out with.
So who tried to contact her and when was that? I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It was during the interview in the car before I can return back to the crime scene. Brandon and I discussed what we had. I gathered that information. We knew that one of his children was with his soon-to-be ex-wife, and we knew where the other 3 children were. We, at this point, did not know the full circumstances surrounding the shooting. So it was important to reach out to her, let her, Melanie know, hey, there was a shooting that just occurred, and speak with her.
So who ended up calling her? You called her or Brandon called her?
Brandon called her from his phone 3 separate times.
And she didn't answer?
No,
But you didn't attempt to call her directly?
not during that time, no.
Okay. And so as far as you know, Brandon followed that admonition to not contact her again that day?
Yes, as we also had his phone, so
Oh, that's right.
that made it so he couldn't.
Okay. And
That
so,
wasn't the purpose, but we had his phone.
so did you end up making contact with Melanie?
I made contact telephonically with Melanie Boudreaux at the time, now Pulowski. And yes, I was able to make contact with her.
Was that still on October 2nd or is that the next day?
I left a message for her. I don't remember when I spoke with her specifically, but she agreed to meet with me on October 3rd, which was the following day after the shooting.
And that was at the Gilbert Police Department?
Gilbert Police Department in a private interview room, yes.
Okay. And so Melanie came and met you that day on October 3rd, is that correct?
Yes,
And you interviewed her,
yes,
and she came in voluntarily
yes,
and talked to you?
yes.
And did she ask for an attorney?
No.
And about how long was that interview, do you think?
Approximately 1 hour.
Okay.
It was a little interrupted because their youngest was with them in the room. She didn't have childcare at that time, but I believe the interview lasted for about an hour.
Okay. And did she advise you in that interview of some
Object
business
hearsay.
deals that
I'm going to
Brandon
object
was involved in?
again to
The
hearsay.
objection's sustained, it's hearsay.
Did you investigate anything that you learned during that interview?
Yes,
Did you investigate anything that Melanie offered to you during that interview?
can you be more specific about what was offered?
Yeah, sure.
If you're gonna offer a hearsay statement, if there, maybe have him review something that you want him to consider, if you have a written copy.
Okay. Maybe a better question is, did you follow up with anything that you learned during that interview with Melanie?
Yes,
And did you talk to her again after that 1 hour-long interview?
I did speak with her again, yes.
On the phone or in person?
The next time I had any communication with Melanie was on October 14th, so a few days after our in-person interview.
Okay, and did she contact you?
She did contact me.
And she was coming to you for help?
She was reaching out regarding some custodial issues.
She thought you might be able to help her, is that correct?
She was seeking some advice, yes.
So Brandon had testified that he provided you with a VIN number to a Jeep Wrangler in my household on October 2nd, 2019. Is that correct?
That is correct that he testified to that, yes.
And did he do that? Did he provide you with that VIN number?
I do not remember that. I do not recall being provided a VIN number. There was a lot that happened early in the investigation. I can tell you that we got the license plate for the Texas Jeep early on in our investigation, which when running a license plate, we also received the VIN number, but I do not remember specifically getting the VIN number from Mr. Boudreaux.
So where did you get the license plate number from?
From the Chandler photographs from their incident in
So
July.
after, like yesterday, you contacted Chandler and that's where you got those from?
The images with the license plate, yes.
What day was that you contacted Chandler in October?
When I contacted them, I can't testify to that, but I do know that I physically met with them on October 9th of 2019.
Okay. So your testimony here today is that you did not discover that the Jeep was gray in my household because of the VIN number that Brandon provided to you. Would that be fair?
Yes, that would be fair.
But you did discover it on October 9th that there was a gray Jeep in my household. Would that be fair?
Yes,
Okay. Would it also be fair to say that no one that you interviewed or talked to mentioned anything about the Jeep being gray?
the color of it being gray, no,
Okay.
not early in the investigation.
Did you search for a green Jeep with Texas plates on it?
No, no, there was never a green Jeep specifically searched for with a Texas license plate. That would be something we would farm out to our investigators, our civilian investigators, and to specifically ask for a green Jeep of Wrangler with a Texas license plate. I don't know what that would yield as far as results, and we didn't have enough to go after just that at that moment.
Okay. And you didn't farm that out, though? Is that correct?
At that juncture, no.
And did you search for a dark blue Jeep with Texas plates on it with a tire on the back?
Same answer, or similar answer to what I just provided.
Ooh, snippy
Detective
much.
Filler, how often
Hello,
or how
running.
many
Hello,
times would you
Lynn.
say that you have communicated
Once
with
and-
Brandon Boudreaux in the past 5.5 years?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to asked and answered as well as potential 404B issues.
She said, "You're going to make me say it."
I think she asked Mr. Boudreaux those
Okay.
questions. I'll allow it, but be aware of the issues, please, that you could be opening. Go ahead.
You're opening some doors,
Multiple
girlfriend.
Times. I have spoken with Mr. Boudreaux multiple times.
And would you say multiple emails back and forth?
The majority of communication was either telephonic or text message. However, I do know there were emails exchanged as well.
I'm going to hand you what is proposed exhibit 192 from the defense. Detective Pillar, do you recognize this email?
Oh, why, thank you, Ada.
Appears to be an email that would be exchanged from Mr. Boudreaux to myself within my police department email.
And that's something to and from him to you and to you from him?
In
What
this
an email
example you
text is.
provided, yes, I don't know how long the message thread was for this.
Okay. And you recognize that as a true and correct copy of that email exchange?
Yes, from February 12th of 2020.
The defense would move to publish the email?
State would object. We're going to go into
We
that.
already discussed this exhibit. It's, I'll sustain the objection. It's not being entered into evidence.
In that email, Detective, did you request that Brandon provide you with financial information regarding his ex-wife, Melanie Boudreaux?
And Your Honor, I'm going to ask to sidebar again regarding defenses.
All right.
Sidebar. I knew we weren't going to get far without a sidebar. We're in a sidebar, y'all. Oi, 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 oi. We're going to zoom. Look at that judge. He's all like, I am so over this. I am like, I'm over it. I'm done. No more. Get me out of here.
Detective Pillar, did you request that financial information regarding Melanie from Brandon?
Yes,
And did he provide you with that information?
yes,
And did he provide you with financial documents you requested in another email?
I know we've discussed financial documents, and everything I was sent, I believe, was via email, but I don't know what specific one you may be referring to, but I think it's safe to say, yes, that there were emails exchanged about Melanie Boudreaux, Pulowski's financial records being sent to me.
Right. So her financial gain if something were to happen to Brandon, is that correct?
That is correct.
So he also provided you with screenshots of information regarding Melanie that didn't have to do with finances. Is that also correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object again and warn on 404A and 405.
Sustained.
Did you read those documents when they were sent to you?
I reviewed the documents that were sent to me, yes.
And did you include those in part of your investigation?
They are included in an investigation, yes.
So on those screenshots, does Melanie give a theory of what she thinks happened on October 2nd, 2019 that you reviewed?
Not that I remember from that exchange. I'd
Okay.
have to see it, which I'm,
Your Honor, I'm going to object to hearsay and relevance.
I'm not asking for the truth of the matter. I just
Hold-
want to know what
Hold
he
on.
knows.
I didn't ask for argument. You can show him the document and then rephrase your question.
Okay.
is there something specific you would like?
Go ahead and rephrase your question.
Is this one of the screenshots that Brandon sent to you? That you reviewed?
It doesn't have any email headings or footers on it. This is what appears to be a Word document, like from Microsoft Word. I can't testify that this is exactly what he sent me, if this is a attachment to the email, from what I'm looking at here.
Okay. Do you recognize it as something that you've read before? The information?
I'm not reading the whole thing. I'm simply
Sure.
reviewing what I can to
Sure.
see if
Take
it's
your time.
judging.
Yeah, she's getting pretty pushy right about now. And y'all, this is my addiction. If I don't have them, I don't eat this kind of stuff. But if it's sitting right here, I can't help it. No, nope. I'm sorry. I don't know where this came from.
Bruh.
Who is that coughing? Was that her? That's not her coughing. That's somebody in the galley. Oh, that's a long read. Give the court reporter a break.
I must say that I don't remember this. There was a lot of correspondence shared and a lot of images. But looking at this, this seems familiar with some of the allegations that I've heard throughout the investigation. However, I don't remember this specific document
Okay.
being sent to me.
So
There
when
you
you
go.
requested Brandon Boudreaux on this date to send you these documents,
Mm-hmm.
that is part of the 7 screenshots that he sent to you.
Okay.
So my question is, during that time, you were still gathering information.
Objection,
right?
Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Yes.
You were still looking at all possibilities of what really happened on that day, right?
And I'm going to object to what time period are we talking about? February? I don't-
Objection.
Is there a
Yeah,
date
can
on
you
there?
clarify the time period?
Foundation.
Is it the February
12th.
email?
She's like, Judge, there's so many objections here. How many do you want me to list before you jump?
February
Yes.
12th. All right, so rephrase the question with that in it.
So my question is, did you ever read the information in that screenshot that you have there before?
It is possible. If it was sent to me in an email, I likely read it, yes. But there was at the point of February 12th of 2020, there were other investigations I was working on as well.
So did you disregard the information in that during your investigation?
I'm going to object, and I think we may need to
All
sidebar
right.
again.
Yeah, let's sidebar.
Yeah, we need to sidebar because she's about ready to step in a bucket of shite, and if we don't stop this, we gonna have a problem. Will say I like the zoom zooms. Yeah, I thought we were done. Guess not. There we go. I love seeing that shock belt. Too bad I don't have the sound. Did y'all hear that? I wish you could hear this. Oh, that wasn't me. That was court TV.
Okay. And it wasn't preserved for any reason?
No. 10 minutes?
Was that on the phone or in person?
Okay, here we go.
No.
I know. But they got to preserve it. I mean, they got to do the best they can. Come on, Lori. Come on.
Boudreaux, if he owned any firearms at that time on October 2nd?
I believe so.
And do you remember what his answer was?
I don't believe he had any firearms in his possession that were his.
And you said the house was cleared. Did someone go through the house and cleared the house?
I knew this from officers telling me, and then again, I had to watch all the body worn camera footage for media release and redaction purposes. So I learned the officers did clear the house prior to detective arrival.
And they went through the garage as well?
Yes.
And when you came up on the scene, was the garage open or closed?
The garage was open.
And do you know about what time you had arrived there?
Approximately 10:30. The call was made at approximately 9:13 in the morning, and detectives arrived approximately 10:30 a.m.
And when do you think that you left, when you initially left, did you leave your car there because you drove the Tesla? Is that correct?
When I left the scene, once we took the Tesla to the property building,
Mhm.
yes, my assigned vehicle was left there secured. And then, again, a detective followed me to the property and evidence building where we met with property technicians upon arrival.
In your interview with Melanie. She provided you with some information and then called you
I got
back,
it,
you
guys.
said,
I can't
around
do it.
October 14th. Is that correct?
Yes.
And
We'll
at that
be
time,
here
did
all
you just
night.
refer her to an attorney?
I listened to her grievances, and then her concern was primarily about the custody of their children. And I referred her to speak with an attorney regarding custodial issues.
Because it's not something that you really give advice about, right? Like as the detective.
That's not my expertise, but I do encourage people to speak with attorneys who specialize in family matters.
But she came to you because were you aware that
I'm gonna jump
Brandon had not returned the children to her?
Sustained as relevance.
About how long was that conversation that you had with Melanie around the 14th?
10 minutes?
Was that on the phone or in person?
It was by phone.
So she was seeking help, but you really didn't have any for her. Is that correct?
Relevance.
Sustained.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right, redirect.
Yes.
This attorney is like, I'm so done with her. Just enough. Sidebar.
Sidebar.
Yes. Yes,
You don't actually say that a specific neighbor said that or where that information came from.
correct. I was working with multiple detectives.
So you're using all of the different information that you gleaned, which included the fact that this defendant owned a gray Jeep Wrangler with Texas license plates, and that was put into your statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you were asked a lot about the measurements of the Tesla and trajectory. Did Brandon Boudreaux stop at the time of the shooting and put down a little ticky-tack marker and say, better note this for later so I can tell the detectives exactly where my vehicle was when I was shot?
No, he did not.
Did Brandon Boudreaux get out of his car and go over and mark the exact end of the Jeep so that you would know exactly where that was when he was shot?
No, he did not.
Did he go over and tell the person, whoa, I gotta wait and find out exactly how this rifle barrel is sticking out of the back of your Jeep so that later on, they'll be able to document the height, the angle, if it's up, if it's down, if it's a little to the right or left, so that later on, they'll be able to do some trajectory?
No,
So none of that happened.
none of that happened.
Were you surprised he didn't do that?
Not at all.
So you did
Why
receive
would he not?
information from another neighbor that they saw the Jeep in the approximate same location of where Brandon Boudreaux saw it,
Yes,
parked there idling, running,
yes,
same direction as Brandon gave,
yes,
the same Texas plate as Brandon gave,
yes,
and same dark tint as Brandon said.
yes,
So when you talk about this only being Brandon, that's not accurate, right?
correct,
In fact, Robert Abitamarco said he didn't even know Brandon because he just moved in, right?
correct.
And so ultimately, when we're talking about trajectory, without knowing all of those specifics, were you aware of any way to recreate how the rifle was held, what angle it was at when it fired that shot into the Tesla, not knowing where the Tesla exactly was either?
No, unable to determine that.
You were asked about the glass as well. When you package items, you put them in a box, a bag, a plastic bag, something like that, right? Depending on the piece of evidence you're collecting.
Yes,
Did you have any way to keep that glass from never disintegrating anymore so that it wouldn't change from the way it looked on October 2nd if you impounded it?
no, with shattered glass, it would continue to shatter. We have no way to package it to stay in its form when it's already broken.
So when you're talking about impounding that item or just throwing it away, if you put it in a box and you travel it to impound and then somebody throws it up into wherever it goes, could you say if you pulled it back out 5 years later that it looked exactly like it did that day when it fell onto the ground?
Absolutely not.
So is that why photographs were taken there?
Photographs, yes.
You were asked a lot about the interview of Brandon. During that audio recording, have you listened to that?
I have.
You told us you were in your vehicle, right?
That's correct.
And was your AC blowing very hard?
It was a warm day out, so yes, we were both, I was sitting in the driver's seat, he was in the passenger, and the vehicle was on with AC running.
Did Brandon talk soft at times?
Yes,
In listening to the recording, is it often difficult to hear what he's saying?
yes,
And would you agree that the best evidence would be the actual recording versus someone's interpretation of what they believe he was saying?
yes.
When you were considering the evidence at the scene, in addition to Robert Abitamarco, when you looked at that ring camera footage that we saw in court from Lynette Mendoza, did the black vehicle that you see appear to be consistent with a Tesla?
Yes,
Was it driving in the general direction of or towards Brandon Boudreaux's home on that video?
yes,
And was there a timestamp showing when you heard that loud bang after that vehicle went by?
yes. It
When was that?
was at 9:13 and some seconds.
And was the 911 call made by Brandon around 9:14?
Yes,
So was that another piece of evidence that was considered by you in corroborating what Brandon had told you and what Robert Abitamarco had seen and what the physical evidence told you?
yes,
When you were looking at the Tesla itself, you advised us that you have seen bullet holes into vehicles previously,
yes,
and you have seen fragments of projectiles previously.
yes.
When you looked at that bullet hole and those fragments, did you have any question as to whether or not that Tesla had been shot?
No question at all.
Did you ever recover a gun that you knew was used in this?
No,
Would the fact that it was one type of rifle over a different type of rifle change the fact that Brandon Boudreaux's vehicle was shot that day?
no,
Could a handgun kill someone?
yes,
Could a rifle kill someone?
yes,
Yes.
You were asked yesterday about LPR, license plate reader. Do you recall that?
I do recall that.
And we had heard from Tom Miller about the DEA license plate readers.
That's correct.
Is that the only license plate readers that exist?
No,
In this investigation, well, the defendant had asked you about there being no other license plate readers showing this Jeep. Is that accurate?
that is not accurate.
Was there a LPR hit for the Jeep Wrangler Texas plate LWD 0997 in a city south of Rexburg, Idaho on September 30th of 2019 at about 8:10 p.m.?
Yes,
Was there an LPR hit in Idaho for the Jeep Wrangler license plate LWD 0997 on US Highway 20 near Rexburg, Idaho at 3:54 and 4:28 a.m. on October 3rd?
yes,
Would that again be consistent with other evidence that you learned in this case from other individuals?
yes,
You were asked a bit about a cast report done by Nick Balance. Do you recall that?
I do.
Did you create that?
I did not create that report.
Did you provide some of the cell phone records that we admitted and talked about that you obtained through search warrants to Mr. Balance?
Yes,
And did information that he gleaned from that and that he made into that report that you reviewed appear consistent again with a timeline of that Jeep leaving Idaho on the 30th of September and being down in Arizona on October 2nd of 2019?
yes, it did.
You were asked about a lot of different emails and information that you had with interactions that you had with Brandon Boudreaux. Do you recall that?
I do recall that, yes.
And would it be fair to say, Detective, that at the time of February of 2020, you were investigating multiple cases?
Yes, that is accurate.
Would it be fair to say that in February of 2020, you were also investigating multiple cases with other agencies involving Melanie Boudreaux?
Yes,
At the time of this shooting, we have discussed that this defendant and her brother, Alex Cox, were living in Rexburg, Idaho, correct?
correct.
Were you then working with the Rexburg Police Department to help obtain information from Rexburg and other counties around there in relation to this investigation?
Yes,
So in any time when you were obtaining search warrants or continuing your investigation, were you pulling in information being provided to you from people such as the DEA LPR reader,
Yes,
Fremont County LPR readers,
yes,
information being obtained by police up in Idaho
yes,
from search warrants that they were executing,
yes,
as well as search warrants that you executed up there on the Jeep?
correct.
Was all of that put together when you were determining whether or not you had information to corroborate what Brandon Boudreaux told you on October 2nd of 2019?
Yes, it was a collective effort.
Although you are the case agent in this matter because it occurred in Gilbert, did you have to rely heavily on aid from the Rexburg Police Department and other agencies to obtain evidence in Idaho?
Yes,
And are those detectives in a better position to discuss things such as storage units or burner phones that were purchased up there?
yes, they are.
Although you are familiar with those and they were all relevant to this investigation, would it be fair to say that since they obtained it, they're in the better position to testify as to it?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I have no other questions for this witness.
Are there any questions for this witness from any member of the jury? If so, please pass those down.
If you
See
noticed,
at least one.
they did not offer it back to Lori Daybell. Someone asked, what am I doing with the Q-tips in my ears? If you wear hearing aids, it gets very itchy. Hearing aids are not comfortable. They hurt. Like right now, they're hurting. They are hurting. Oh, I keep forgetting we're live. We're not live.
Voicemail was left.
And did you, Brandon, the attempted phone?
Yes.
Here we go.
Do I answer this for you, Your Honor?
Experience, is it unusual for witnesses to confuse colors or not remember them accurately?
Yes. Do I answer this for you, Your Honor?
Gray and green.
I'll let the
Definitely.
parties follow up on that if they need to. The next question is, were the attempted phone calls to wife recorded during the in-car interview of Brandon on the day of the shooting? I guess, let's clarify. Did you record those phone calls?
To the second question, yes, those calls were recorded.
And were voicemails left explaining the situation?
A voicemail was left requesting a response for a callback, not explaining the situation. That was from Brandon. And then I know I later called and left a message explaining my involvement as a detective who wanted to talk to Melanie Boudreaux at the time. And she later responded, and the interview happened the next day.
All right. Follow up on that question from the defense, on those three questions from the defense? From the state?
In terms of colors and not remembering them accurately, you said it's not unusual for a witness to not remember always a color. Is that due to just sort of the circumstances surrounding what's happening when they're trying to observe these things like a vehicle?
Yeah, so I'll answer this in a couple parts. It is not uncommon for people to commonly mistake black for white or red for blue or different colors, assuming they're not colorblind to begin with.
Thank you.
You amplify that situation, for lack of better words, in a traumatic situation, going out to multiple violent scenes, or even not a violent scene, just an emotional scene, maybe between a domestic dispute. It is quite common that colors for vehicles or clothing or hairstyles or hair color are mistaken, especially when you add the traumatic element to it. So,
No other questions?
All right, you can step down.
thank you, Your Honor.
State can call its next witness.
Thank you.
All right, you're going to come right up here in front of my clerk and be sworn in.
Do you swear that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, have a seat up here to my left.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Vanessa Milkey. I'm a forensic scientist 3 for the City of Mesa Forensic Services.
How long have you worked there?
I have been there for over 12 years now.
And can you tell us your training and experience to work both as a forensic scientist and then, I guess let's start there.
Okay, I have a bachelor's degree in biological sciences from Arizona State University. While in college, I was a forensic services intern for about 8 months for the City of Mesa Forensic Services. After college, I was a laboratory technician for United Blood Services for 1 year. Prior to my current position, I was a crime scene technician for the Chandler Police Department for almost 2 years. After I was a crime scene technician and I was hired at the City of Mesa, I completed the required serology and DNA training that took about 2 years.
All right, so what is your current role? What do you specifically do?
I examine items for the presence of biological fluids, conduct DNA analysis, prepare samples for DNA analysis, take notes, write reports, and review reports.
So you talked about training specifically at the City of Mesa with regards to DNA testing and analysis. How long of a process is that?
It took me about 2 years to complete all of the required training, and then every single year I'm required to do a minimum of 8 hours of continuing education.
And are there any type of quality assurance processes to ensure that your analysis is correct and your conclusions are accurate?
Yes, during training, I was required to complete competency tests along the way for each new thing that I learned, and then every single year I have to do 2 proficiency tests to show that I'm proficient in serology and DNA analysis.
Now, at the Mesa Police Department, do you separate sort of this process and have one person take cuttings of swabs or evidence to prepare them for testing, and then another person who will take those to develop those unknown profiles for analysis?
Yes, we have serology and DNA, so there are some analysts that just do serology, and there's some that are trained in both serology and DNA analysis. For a particular case, it could be the same individual doing serology and DNA, or it could be different analysts.
Okay. So let's start with talking about DNA. What is it?
DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's considered the blueprint of life. You get half of your DNA from your mother and the other half from your father. Every individual has a different DNA profile with the exception of identical twins.
When the police are collecting biological evidence from a scene for DNA testing, are there different types of biological evidence that can be used for DNA testing?
Yes, the a DNA profile can be generated from hair, semen, saliva, sweat, skin cells, blood.
So you talked about skin cells, and if we are talking about swabbing different areas that people touch, if a person touches an item, do they always leave behind DNA?
No, not always. It depends on the type of surface. If an individual is wearing gloves, they're not going to leave behind their DNA.
Okay. Does the environment also impact potentially your ability to obtain DNA from a swabbed surface that someone touched?
Yes, there are different environmental conditions such as heat, moisture, sunlight that can all damage the DNA. And also if there's any type of cleaning products that have been applied, such as bleach.
So just because a person touches an item doesn't mean you're going to be able to find the DNA there.
That's correct.
And then we've been talking about sort of a DNA profile. Can you tell us what that is?
Yes, a DNA profile is kind of like a graph. There's different locations that I'm looking at that I am comparing from, let's say, a question sample to a known sample. So a known sample is something where I know where the sample was collected from. A typical known sample is buccal swabs, which cells are the cells from the inside of your cheek. So I have an expected DNA profile. And an unknown profile would be something from a crime scene where I don't know what the DNA profile is, but I'm going to look at all 23 different locations and I'm going to compare that to my known samples.
So when you're creating a DNA profile, do law enforcement agencies generally look at the same locations on the DNA, long strand of DNA?
Yes, different laboratories use different what's called kits, but it's all very similar locations.
You're not looking at every spot on the DNA chromosome, right?
No, just 23 different locations.
When you are looking at a DNA profile from a known source let's start with a known source, are you able to generally create a single source DNA profile?
From a known sample?
Yeah.
Yes, typically I am able to generate a full DNA profile from a known sample.
Okay. And like someone's blood would be a known sample.
Yes.
Now, if you have a cutting or a swab from a crime scene, are there different things that might affect your ability to develop a full DNA profile?
Yes, sometimes there's not enough DNA present for me to have a conclusive DNA profile, or sometimes there's too much DNA there where it's too complex, where I can't pull anything out or make any comparisons or conclusions.
Is one of the things we're talking about when we say there's too much DNA referred to often as a mixture?
A mixture is anything that's more than one individual contributing to that DNA sample.
And if you have a mixture, are you always able to tell us all the people who are part of that?
No, sometimes there's just too much information there where I can't separate out the different numbers and determine how many people are contributing to the sample.
When you develop a DNA profile from a swab from a crime scene, and there's a mixture of people who have contributed to that, do you ever have anything called a major contributor? What is that?
Yes, a major contributor is just the individual that's contributing the majority of the DNA to the sample.
And if you have a mixture, you told us you're not always able to tell all the people. Are you always able to tell us how many people contributed?
No, I don't always know how many people contributed, but we usually give a minimum number that the analyst would think is contributing to that mixture.
Okay. So if we see there's a major contributor, is there such a thing as a minor contributor?
Yes, the opposite of the major would be the minor. So if there's a major component, there's also a minor component. And with every sample, the minor component
Oh, why, thank you, Ada.
Okay, guys, I don't know why all of a sudden I've got an internet dump. I know. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to close out Discord. It usually takes up a lot of my Matt.
is a 4-step process. The first step is called extraction, where the cells are broken open and the DNA is released from the cell. The second step is quantitation, where I'm determining how much DNA I have in a sample, if any at all. The third step is amplification.
Okay, guys, we've had a lot of bad weather here, and there are some lines that were down, and there has been a lot of work going on. So there is a chance that if this happens again, that they're working on it. And I don't know where that line is being worked on, but I know that we have multiple lines being worked on. I was worried about this morning. I have to be honest with you. So if it goes down and I don't come back in 5 minutes, we're done. Oh gosh, yes. About 11, 12. Oh, do you know what, guys? I may have to end this early. This is what's coming my way. And I'm right in the middle of it.
Oh, why, thank you, Ada.
Oh, well, you're welcome. What do you guys think? I don't know what to do because if it's already acting up, well, here's the thing. I'd rather start here and catch up, and then when they're in jury deliberations, catch up. We can always use the deliberation time to catch up. But the problem I'm having is this. They're working on lines. I know they are. I just don't know how close they are. And we've got major weather coming in. And the problem is I won't be able to get home because we have a road that floods. And if this hits like it's supposed to, we've got warnings of flooding. All right, I'm going to do this. I need to be safe. And I need to be able to get home, take care of my critters. It's not that I want to end the live, but I need to because the bad weather coming in. And it's supposed to be horrendous. Yeah. All right. I hate to do it. I'll pause this here. I'll save it. We'll mark the time. Okay. And we will start here during breaks tomorrow morning, which we normally don't have anything anyway. And with all the breaks and all those sidebars, we probably only got about 3 hours worth of trial. So we can zoom through that and zoom tomorrow night. Tomorrow we're going to go live with Lori Daybell as soon as Karen Reed is over so we can catch up with this and do tomorrow's all in one shot. I just think for my safety, the fact that I do need to get home and take care of critters, it's flooding. I mean, we've had enough rain that now that anything can cause flooding. So let's go ahead and say farewell. I'd rather do that and have a controlled exit and then us have a problem. So I apologize, but that's life. You guys are amazing. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I will keep the numbers up for tomorrow. What would be good to go live when Karen Reed is over? Well, the thing is tomorrow they don't even start until noon, 1:00 our time, the Lori Vallow Central Time. I mean, they start late. So when we have breaks with the Karen Reed, we'll catch up with this. And then as soon as Karen Reed's over tomorrow, we're going to go straight into Lori Vallow. And that way it'll be all real smooth. And hopefully, I don't think we're supposed to have this kind of stormage tomorrow, but they're saying we're supposed to get 100% chance of rain at a potentially up to 3 inches with a possibility of hail. So yeah, I think I need to go take care of cars and get things under cover and all that good stuff. All right, guys, we will see you in the morning. Y'all are amazing. You're what? Augury? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I hope you're gonna be gonna be well. Your surgery is tomorrow, not Augury. Your surgery We will keep you in our prayers. Please take care. I wish you well. We will see you on the flip side. But hello, it's Brit. We love and appreciate you. We'll be praying for you. Wrist surgery tomorrow. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say it until somebody else did. But love, take care. You know, we love you and we support you in everything that's going on in your life. And we pray that the surgery goes well. We bless the hands of the surgeons. We bless the hands of the nurses and all that are going to take care of you. And it will be wonderful. You'll be on the road to recovery and back with us as quickly as you can. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great evening. Bye. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.